Hello again and welcome back to Scott and Wanda's World. That ugly one back again, just make sure the microphone is still on, although I've only just started. And welcome back to episode of Back in Time Beers. I can't remember, is it 6, is it 7, is it 5? Someone will let me know. I'll deal with the editing and that will make out that I actually know what I'm all about. Of Back in Time Beers. Thank you ever so much for your patience. Apologise for the slight delay in this episode. Various reasons. We were on holiday. I couldn't pick it up. And when I did find it, I wasn't going to pay £4 for 4 cans. I didn't know if they were going to be any good or not. When we're on the bones of our arse and I could spend the money elsewhere, to be honest with you. So I've parked Mackeson's. It will come. I'm not expecting you to vote for it again. I'll just stick it out as a bonus episode when I finally get around to it. So thank you to the people that voted for Mackeson's. Thank you ever so much. And yeah, I'll get around to that at some point. With that in mind, I put a new poll up last week. 5 or 6 new beers. And when I put it up, I've deleted the bloody... I've deleted the poll. So I do apologise, I can't show that. But I do, when I put the poll up, I knew what was going to win it, because obviously there's a slight history with this beer. And the beer is, of course, it's Duvel. And I think it got about 46% of the vote. There's about 180 votes again. So to everybody that voted, thanks. Thanks a bunch. So people that haven't joined in and know what Back in Time Beers is about, myself, obviously I'm Scott. I'm into craft beer, predominantly English craft beer, but American craft beers as well. And sort of just a huge craft beer advocate and fan. I've never been really a huge old style ale, old style beer enthusiast. So going back, this series is all about going back and taking a look at some of the older style beers, things like what have we done on the channel? We've done Ghost Ship, I don't know, Old Speckled Hen, and a few other stuff. So if that's the sort of thing, I'm just looking around what I've done. My memory is absolutely shot to bits. But yeah, if you like old style beers, then we once a week we go back through them. I did say it's Wednesday. It's probably going to be any day that I can fit it in all honesty. And what we did is we, instead of just a new sort of beer review, we take a look at sort of the history of the beer. We look at Untapped to see what how many check-ins, not chickens, it's had. And we just take a long form view of the beer. Obviously, Duvel, Belgian strong blonde. It's 8.5% on your ABV. It's a 330 ml bottle, and I picked it up in, I think it was Morrison's yesterday for £2. Obviously, it's a distinctive beer. Duvel with a distinctive bottle cap. Now, I have a history with Duvel, as some of you may know. I've had 1 or 2 in the past going up that I can remember, because to be fair, I can't remember the other 8 that I probably had. So I had 10 on a live stream a couple of years ago now. Drank all 10. Wanderers just said definitely had 10, because she had to clear up the aftermath of and apparently, I mean, we were discussing this the other day. Apparently, I'd had beer before that as well, which I can't actually remember. So yeah, huge. There's a video I put up last week. Scott versus the 10 Duvel. Was in a complete mess after it, and it's almost become my kryptonite of a beer. Leah got me one in a beer calendar, and I opened the beer and could have instantly been sick. So it's been about 18 months, and to be honest, it put me off Belgian beer a little bit. So yeah, it's a beer I put up knowing it'd win, but also terrifying me at the same time. So as we normally do, let's have a look at some of the history of the beer. I've already Googled it and screenshotted some stuff. So it says on their website, Duvel's website, it's slow brewed to perfection. Let's go back and have a look at what we've got. Where am I? Slow brewed to perfection. Apart from pure spring water, which is the main ingredient of beer, barley is the most important raw material. Barley must germinate for 5 days in the malt house, after which malt remains. The colour of the malt, as a consequence, also of the beer, is determined by the temperature. Duvel obtains its typical bitterness by adding various varieties of aromatic Slovenian and Czech hops. We use only exclusive hops that are renowned for their constant, outstanding quality. Sassaz and I can't remember the other one. It might tell me. Duvel ferments for the first time in tanks at 20 to 26 degrees. The brewer uses his own culture for this. The original yeast strain, which Albert Mortgap himself selected in the 1920s, originates from Scotland. So this is from the Mortgap Brewery. After maturing in storage tanks in which the beer is cooled to -2, the drink is ready for bottling. Thanks to the addition of extra sugars and yeast, the beer ferments again in the bottle, so it's bottle conditioned. And as with all Belgian beers, it's going to come out with a huge head and quite highly carbonated. This occurs in warm cellars, 24 degrees, and takes 2 weeks. Then the beer is moved to cold cellars, where it continues to mature and stabilise for a further 6 weeks. So I think it's brewed over 90 days. This extra long maturation period is unique and contributes to refined flavour and the pure taste of Duvel. Thanks to its surprisingly high alcohol content, 8.5%, an enormous head, fine effervescence and silky smooth feel in the mouth, Duvel stands out clearly from the other Belgian beers. So that's their spiel on the Duvel website. 98 out of 100 on Rate Beer, apparently. And yeah, that's it really on the history of the beer. Looking at Untapped, it says, where are we? I've got a screenshot from Untapped somewhere, or did I not? No, I haven't. So let's have a look on Untapped. Untapped. And we shall search for Duvel. Consent. So Duvel. From Gap Brewery, it has quite a lot of check-ins, not chickens. 356,000 apparently, with a score of 3.74 out of 5. Pretty good. I mean, huge amount of check-ins. That's certainly the biggest that we've had so far. And if there's some information on the thing, I think it just says the same. Obtains its typical bitterness. So on Untapped bits and pieces, it's just everything that says on their website. Slow brewed to perfection. It's Duvel. I've had 10 bottles of this before. So people tell me. I don't actually remember. I think I remember the first 2 or 3. So I'm expecting it to jump out of the bottle. I haven't got a Duvel glass. I'm not that much. I'm not a glass snob. I'm a beer snob. So I'm just going to use a tall glass for it. It hasn't erupted out of the bottle. So I'm pleased about that. Let's get it in the glass. 45-degree angle. Here comes the head. What we'll do is just leave that in the bottom, give it a wriggle. And get all that yeast out of there. I've been dreading this. So in the glass. there's a slight haze to it. I think it pours quite cloudy, so quite clear till you get the rest of that that yeast in the bottom, from the bottom of the bottle into your glass. Obviously, 4-finger head that's going to sit there. It's not going to go anywhere. So there's a haze to it. I've had it out of the fridge now for about half an hour. Absolutely caning the carbonation in there. This is a non-nucleated glass. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. I'll hold it up as close as I can. So very highly carbonated, which we were expecting. It was quite highly carbonated when it came back out again, in all fairness. So on the nose, if we're going to get anything through the ice cream head, and it does pick up through the head, to be fair. So you get that sort of candied fruit. Some sort of orange, very orange peely aroma. Head's growing by the second. Got more head than Boris Johnson. And a sort of zesty, sort of lemony, it's like bubblegum aroma to it. Cheers. I'm not having 10 more. Hugely cut. The first thing that hits you is that huge carbonation hit. Obviously, there's no escaping it. The alcohol hits you as well. There's no escaping the 8.5%. There's a nice bitterness right on the very dry, and it's very bitter. It's quite a nice bitterness on the end. You get that that candied Belgian sort of fruit, sugars, yeasty, some orange. A little bit of herbal nature to it as well. It's not as bad as I was expecting it to be. I know it's a great beer. That's not a dig at Duvel at all. That's my own personal dig. It's a beer that I haven't touched since the night where I did 10 of them. Very dry, huge carbonation, nice bitterness at the end. There is a sweetness in there from those candied fruits, orangey, a little bit of lemon. It's nice. It is a nice beer. I can't say it isn't. It's just a beer I don't go back to. Pardon me. I'm not a massive drinker of Belgian beer anyway. In the great scheme of things, it's not as terrifying as I thought it might be. So there's no hiding that 8%. If you swirl it around, you can knock that carbonation down a little bit, makes it a little bit more palatable. Duvel, Belgian strong ale, or Belgian strong blonde, established in 1871. I think that's just the brewery, not the beer. Thumbs up, thumbs down, a thumbs in the middle from Scott and Wanda's Back in Time beers. It's got to be a thumbs up, isn't it? It does have to be. I can't not give it a thumbs up. Is it a beer that I'd go back to all the time? Well, it's the first time I've gone back to it in 2 years. It's okay. It's a nice beer. Most of you guys are going to have it or have had it. Let us know in the comments what you think of it. Is it something you return to? Is it something that is one of your favourites? Could you drink 10? It's okay. It's a nice beer. Am I glad I've got it out of the way? Yeah, I am. In all honesty, it's one of the tick off lists of. It's almost become my kryptonite. So yeah, Duvel. It's a great beer, and it's still well priced for that price, isn't it? Can't go wrong. So yeah, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. There'll be another vote for next week's Back in Time beer. I'll put that up at probably Saturday. So get involved again. Leave your comments in the comments box. I'll read all of them. I always try and reply to as many as I can. And yeah, thank you ever so much for everybody that voted this one. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. There's a subscribe button if you like the content. And me and Wanda, we'll see you very soon. Have a great evening.